Hello and welcome to Randomly Generated Conversations, the podcast where we take a randomly generated conversation starter and see where the conversation goes from there. This podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, as well as Spotify. If you're listening to it on Spotify, there is a poll on every episode. Go ahead, participate in the poll. Let us know what you think. Today with me, I'm Wesley Sellers. Today with me, I have my son Bastian.
Hello.
And I have my daughter Leah.
Hello.
And the topics for today are: what food do you like to snack on? If you could meet anybody in history, past or present, who would it be? What movie have you rewatched the most number of times? And if you become president, what is the first thing you would do? Alright, so what food do you like to snack on?
I like to snack on either gummy bears or Takis or a lot of candies and stuff like that.
You do like candy.
But we're doing a challenge.
Did you ever eat gummy bears with Takis?
I know, I'll probably try it someday.
I've had tahine covered gummy bears.
Those things are delicious.
Yeah, I like those. I think those are my favorite.
You mentioned a challenge. What's your challenge?
Oh, it's our family challenge. It's our 16-week challenge.
A challenge of reducing the amount of snacks we have in this house. How do you think you're going to fare with that one, Leah?
I don't know. I don't know.
You look terrified.
A little scared.
How about you? What's your favorite food to snack on, Bastian?
I don't know. I have a lot of different ones. Like, there's, sometimes, there's a bunch that I can't even name. Chips are good.
You can never go wrong with chips.
Chips.
Spicy chips.
Regular chips.
Takis. Flaming hot Cheetos.
Tacky chips.
Tacky chips. Even regular chips with Valentina all over them.
Exactly.
Popcorn too.
Those little duros, like the little pinwheel type things that are puffed up. Those are pretty good.
Yeah. I was thinking about favorite snacks and then my brain just went blank because I knew what I was going to say, but... Oh yeah, popcorn chicken. Those are things that are like really good snacks that you can like pop into your mouth and it should be easy.
Like popcorn.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
Hence the name, popcorn chicken.
Yeah.
I like popcorn chicken too. I also like popcorn.
Popcorn's good. Again, add some Valentina, add a little bit of spiciness to that popcorn, and it's
And
delicious.
add like the seasoning and stuff to it.
Random thing that happened with popcorn. We decided to put Nashville hot chicken stuff on top of that popcorn. Our lips were buzzing.
Yes, sprayed a little extra of the spray butter on the popcorn, poured some of the Nashville hot chicken seasoning, and it was delicious.
We recommend it.
Yes, highly recommended. Unless your lips are sensitive, then don't recommend it. Personally, my favorite snack is dark chocolate. I'm not a huge milk chocolate fan nowadays. I used to be, but lately I've gravitated more towards the dark chocolate. Something about that slight bitterness and not being overly sweet. I don't really enjoy stuff that's overly sweet much anymore. And so the dark chocolate gives just the right amount of sweetness, the right amount of bitterness, and to me it's divine. If I had to give up all the other snacks, I would stick with that one.
Yeah, it reminds me of a lyric in a song. I like chocolate so dark it's almost evil to eat.
Yes. And for me, the darker the better.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Darker the bitter.
the darker the bitter. up to about 90% and I'm good. I don't know I could go beyond the 90% because then it becomes more chalky and everything.
Yeah.
But also, dark chocolate, it has to be quality dark chocolate. That doesn't mean more expensive, but it means quality dark chocolate. Because not all dark chocolate's created equal.
Yeah, and you like dark chocolate.
Yes. So dark that sometimes you guys won't even eat it.
I know. I was like, I don't really like dark chocolate. Now I'm like, it's good stuff.
Yep. That and like salted licorice.
Yes.
Salted black licorice. And everything that's not too sweet but has that right amount of snackability.
Another thing Mom doesn't like.
Right, we don't have it much in the house because she's not a huge fan of it, but the ones that look like little fishes and...
Yeah, like roads.
Mm-hmm. Deliciousness. All right, let's move away from snacks. I'm starting to get pretty hungry. If you can meet anybody in history, past or present, meaning they don't have to have already passed on, who would it be?
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
Because I like to meet all of them. And like get a song named after me, if I could. Like if I were to talk to them and say, hey, I'm your biggest fan, and then yeah, that would be fun. Get a song written.
It'd be like, instead of Hey Jude, it'd be Hey Bastion.
Yeah.
Or you could sing a song with them. Be the Stink Bug and the Beatles. Just kidding.
Or like the Beatles and the Dung Beetle.
I don't really know because I don't really know anybody.
Any of the
Famous conquerors?
famous conquerors? Any famous dictators? Any
Alexander the Great?
Queen Elizabeth? The whatever?
The whatever. The
Macbeth? Oh.
You just cursed us all.
Who's Macbeth?
He's not from history. He's it's a work from Shakespeare. One of Shakespeare's plays. Shakespeare.
No.
You go meet Shakespeare.
Never meet Shakespeare. Shakespeare's a little odd.
Well, I don't really know.
Okay. If I can meet somebody in history, past or present, I think I would really like to go back and meet some of my ancestors.
Yeah.
Not necessarily somebody who had this huge effect in life or this huge impact in life, but to go back and get to know those that made the hard decisions that put our family where it is today.
Yeah, sometimes the smaller impacts too.
Mm-hmm. I had ancestors that crossed the plains and went through all sorts of hardships and had their struggles, had their heroics. And I would love to be able to go back and talk to them, hear their stories from them firsthand. I'd love to go back even further and meet people from biblical times, right? I think that would be pretty cool. But I think for me it would mean more than meeting this great figure, to meet the great figures of my family's history and visit with some of those relatives that have passed on.
I'd love to do that.
So what movies have you rewatched the most number of times? I'm going to put a caveat here, because if we just go off of that, we're going to say, oh, probably Frozen or the Barbie shows or whatever, because that's what the 2-year-old wants to watch, right? She wants to watch that over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to say, what movies have you rewatched the most number of times of your own choosing, and not necessarily the choosing of the youngest? Because for me, you guys have to deal with her. I had to deal with everything Bastion wanted to watch, everything Caleb wanted to watch over and over again. I mean, with Bastion, it was the Blues Clues and Veggie Tales. With Caleb, we were constantly watching the exact same Thomas over and over again. With Leandra, it was Frozen and some other shows. I don't remember what they were.
Dr. McStuffins, I think.
Probably Dr. McStuffins. And the same episodes over and over and over again. But those weren't of my own choosing. So, for you guys, what's movies that you guys have watched over and over again? And we'll stick with movies as opposed to shows, because we've talked about shows quite a few times in the past on this program. So, movies that you guys, from your own choice, have watched the most number of times.
Does it have to be movies, or can it be like a TV show?
He just said.
I just said we're going with movies because we've already talked about shows.
Well, you go first, Leah.
I watched a lot of movies.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times.
What are some of your favorites that you really don't get tired of watching?
I get tired of a lot of movies, but one movie I don't really get tired of is Elemental.
Okay. I'm not sure you've watched that as many times as some other movies, though, because that's still newer.
Yeah, but I just don't get tired of that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. This is not my choosing. I'm gonna go with this first, but one of the other shows we watched a bunch was Raya and the Last Dragon.
Okay.
Because it was a movie that was put a bunch when different things happened.
Yeah, when we were going through a tough time, some medical issues in the family, it was just kind of what was on in the background the majority of the time. And we really didn't have the mental capacity to be watching a lot of other shows. So we just put what was familiar, and that show kept playing over and over again. That one and Croods 2 were kind of on repeat for a little while during there. Again, we weren't really watching them, but they were just kind of repeat in the background because it just added a little extra comfort during a trying time.
TV series, though, would have been Phineas and Ferb during that time, too.
Yes.
I'd be woken up in the middle of the night.
But we already said we're not going
I
with
know.
TV series. But yes, you would wake up and it'd be playing still.
It was a hard time.
Some of us would still be awake.
Sometimes we would go to sleep, and then I would wake up in the middle of night, and I would see the show Ratatouille.
Oh, yes.
All the time.
I thought that's one you guys were going to mention because you guys would...
That was a chosen. I watched that one a bunch, but I also watched Puss in Boots, The Last Wish a bunch.
Mm-hmm. I remember you guys used to sleep down in the theater room, and it was Ratatouille every single night. You'd watch your shows, and then when it was time for bed, you'd turn Ratatouille on, whether it was just audio only or on, or somebody woke up in the middle of the night and was scared because it was dark in here and put on Ratatouille.
Mm-hmm.
Ratatouille was always on.
No matter what.
I'd say one that you probably watched a lot, Bastion, was WALL-E.
Yes!
As a
I
little
love
kid,
WALL-E.
you could watch WALL-E over and over and over again. Up until, 8, 9 years old, they didn't even stop at the little kid. You were still watching it a lot.
Now I have to comply to what my younger siblings watch. And what?
You enjoy it. Probably a show I've watched many times. The Lord of the Rings trilogy. I went through a time where it was almost every year I'd watch through the whole trilogy. And there were times, multiple times a year, especially when they were coming out. I would watch the first one, a good 10 or more times to get ready for the second one to come out. Then the second one come out, I'd watch those two back to back multiple times until the third one came out. And I still, to this day, they're some of the best movies in my mind. Movie that is definitely my not most watched is the live action of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Worst movie ever. So we spent $1 on that movie, and it was the worst dollar I've ever spent. But the cartoon was amazing. If we were talking about series, I believe that's the series I've probably watched the most.
We watched that a lot in the past.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yeah, and not just episodes here and there, like actually sitting through and watching.
Yeah, like over and over
from
again.
Start to finish, over and over again, yep. Alright, so if you became president, what is the first thing you would do?
I don't know. Like, even though it probably would screw up the economy, I'd say change gas prices, be a little lower.
I don't think the president has much power over
Gas prices.
that directly. They can't come into office and just say, we're going to lower prices of all this stuff. Pretty sure it's something that's not allowed on executive order.
Okay.
But let's say you had the power to do anything. And let's say it was within your power. So this is just as president. So let's say the president of the world. You could just come in and change one thing.
Gas prices.
What would you do?
Still gas prices.
Still gas
We'd be able
prices.
to like get farther. We could go places and wouldn't be more as expensive to go places. So yeah.
I don't really know if this makes any of sense, but I want the world to be more cleaner.
Okay, so you would do something to clean up the world. The whole world.
Especially New York.
Have like a full day of, or a full month of its cleanup time.
Wait.
Everybody has that full month, and all they have to do for that whole month is just clean up every single day.
How do you expect to clean up the world if you can't even clean up your room?
I was going to say, as president, she's okay with it because she thinks she's not going to be out there cleaning. But she wants the whole world to be clean, but we ask her to clean the house, and she's whining and fussing, and really, do I have to do that? Here, give me your best whine. Your best, really?
I don't want to do that.
Why do I have to do that?
I don't think I want to do that. At all.
But that would be nice. I mean, having the world cleaned up.
We can vacuum the oceans to clean up the trash.
I mean,
Put
I'm
it through its
fine.
filtration.
I mean, I'm fine on the cleaning my room. That's the only room. And then, leave the rest to everybody else.
Sounds like a true president. Okay, anyway, moving on from there. If I became president, the first thing I would do is thank the people who support me and backed me in getting to that position.
You can start thanking me now.
So, are you my campaign manager?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, if I was president, before trying to do some act like that, I think that's what I would do, is make sure that I thank those who put me in that position. I listen to those who put me there. And of course, do any of the moving and meeting and signing all the documents and everything that say I have to be president. So, I mean, there's a lot of paperwork, a lot of inaugurations and all that stuff that happens. Those are probably the first things I do before I even think about signing anything or having any acts. But after that, I think if I can do anything, let's say I have this one switch, right? So, and I were to have the power to make something happen, I think my first act would be empowering the people, right? Not necessarily just empowering the people with money or with power or with that are in those positions of influence anyway, but finding a way to empower the people that are the results of the decisions of all these others, right? And so after, thanking the people who put me there, finding a way to listen to them, my goal would be find a way to empower them to make the world that they want and that they deserve, not the world that I think they should have.
Yeah.
But this just says president. So, okay, what if you became president of this podcast? What would you do?
Probably wouldn't change anything. I'd just keep the podcast like this.
Maybe fix that broken intro a little bit. Leah, if you could be president of this podcast, what would you do?
I have no idea. At all. Not even one single.
Not a single idea?
No, not at all.
How about a couple idea? I'm just kidding.
We appreciate you joining us. We know it's a little nerve-wracking at first. Sitting here with your dad and your brother. You're not used to talking to us, right?
What?
Just
what
kidding.
do you mean?
Well, definitely not sitting in front of a mic with us. We appreciate you joining us. Did you have fun?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty comfortable sitting in front of a mic, but not with you two.
And not with the mic on?
Wait, what?
All right, so what do you think people should do? Do you think people should follow this podcast?
I think so.
Turn on notifications so they can know when new episodes come out?
I don't know about that, but...
Are you going to listen to our podcast?
Yeah, I already listened to them with my earbuds on.
Awesome. See, even our own daughter listens to us. So, well, daughter and sister. All right, we appreciate you guys joining us today. We appreciate Leah being here. And we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you so much.